going to have to make an emergency landing. Hold on, Chief.
What's going on, y'all? I'm the Home Slice Ascend Hyperion. Well, after months of waiting, we've finally gotten our first taste of what we can expect to see in Halo Infinite's campaign. During the 2020 Xbox Game Showcase, we got an 8-minute demo of a section of Infinite's campaign, and while there's plenty to ramble on about, I wanted to break down my 3 major takeaways that go deeper than just watching Chief rock grunts out of the air. Let's get started. As speculation has predicted, Infinite will have elements of open world play, but the extent to which has been unknown. In this little sequence, we get a peek into an interactive map graphing out the local area, which in its own right looks huge and varied. But what interests me are the several indicators on the screen. In the start of the demo, Chief departs to take down 3 AA guns, a normal day in the old linear Halo missions. But here, you have the choice of which gun you pursue first. Beyond that, you'll notice when highlighted, the AAs have their own associated difficulties. This hints to me that you can potentially have a variety of missions active at once, and their respective difficulties may correspond to your current ability in the game or even timeline in the campaign. This, coupled with the missions tab on the screen, seems to further push that the strictly linear style gameplay that's been so prevalent in the past may be falling away, and that 343 has committed to delivering an open world experience like what was planned with Halo CE nearly 20 years ago. I mean, let's be honest, haven't you replayed a mission or two just to go revisit one area you thought was cool or had secrets to explore? Imagine being able to do that for every part of the arc in Halo 3, or having full access to San Helios in Halo 5 whenever you wanted. Now that sounds cool. The next major takeaway is the confirmation that equipment has returned to Halo. First introduced and implemented only in Halo 3, equipment items shook up the Golden Triangle formula, allowing players an extra variable for movement or combat depending on the equipment piece. Equipment later evolved into armor abilities in Reach and in Halo 4, but now 343 has taken a step back. In this demo, we get to see 2 key abilities: Grapple Hook and Drop Wall. Like I mentioned, these are geared at affecting movement and combat. If you return to that map screen, you'll see a slot for upgrades. This suggests to me that as the game progresses, I can upgrade my equipment. Maybe my grapple hook will shoot farther, or maybe my shield wall can heal me too. I've got no clue, but I'm excited to find out. The last major takeaway is that enemy interaction mechanics have become more dynamic and cohesive. In this demo, we see Chief take on grunts, jackals, elites, and brutes, and while each enemy has their own distinctive functions alone, you'll notice that when grouped, they act a little differently. Grunts will fight you at distance, if not just run away if alone, but when paired with a brute, they're thrown as suicide projectiles. Elites are fast and agile. When you're in a group conflict, they use their speed to seek distance and attack you when they're moving. Brutes can tank damage and it distracts you, forcing you to pursue them first before dealing with other enemies. It's a subtle yet key dynamic. It creates a variability in conflict. Your approach to fights can be changing depending on what clusters of enemies you're currently facing. And in that right, you're inclined to face enemies certain ways in certain scenarios. I want to see how this pans out in the full game with more enemies and more environments. I know I said I was only doing 3 takeaways, but this last one's worth mentioning. The brute giving the speech at the end states that the Banished have aligned with a group called the Harbinger, a new secondary enemy in Halo Infinite that we have no news about.
The Harbinger and the Banished share the same goal. We fight together to honor the will of Atriox.
With this, we can at least infer that the Banished won't be our only problem in Halo Infinite. The last thing I want to say is that I know it's very easy to criticize, especially in our current society where abuse and critique seem to hold hands more often than not. There are plenty of things to critique in this demo, for sure, and I encourage you to give feedback, but we must remember that this is merely a demo, a shadow of the final product. The good people at 343 have worked hard on this project for 5 years, and while I know that they're open to feedback and critique, be sure you get on Twitter or YouTube or whatever and let them know that their hard work is appreciated. Feel free to critique, but say something positive. They're people just like us. That's gonna do it for this video. In the comments below, let me know what was your favorite part of this demo. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.